are the adjustments, more technical, or is it more mental in terms of can't start feeling ourselves just
Yeah, I mean that's the message. Now, we haven't done a damn thing. I mean, like if we're going to try to win a championship, we got 15 more games you got to get. And for those of our players, not that they were, but if anybody felt that we could come up for air, we could exhale, we could feel good about ourselves, you're wrong. There's a lot of things we could have done better in game one. And that's what I showed today. This wasn't a film session like, look how great we are. This was a film session of, look what we did wrong on all these clips. Look where we can be better. I know full well that it's going to be a completely different game tomorrow. You're going to see an ultra-aggressive Minnesota Timberwolves team, especially Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns. So my job is to keep our guys humble and coach them, hold them accountable. It was a great game, no doubt, but you celebrate for a few minutes and you get ready. And that's what today was all about.
Is that why it's important to get the starters back in, even if there's a big lead in the fourth quarter? Is that the thinking that goes into it?
Yeah, I mean, one thing for me is no lead is ever safe. I mean, like their starters were in; they were down 30. You know what I mean? So it's they're trying to get back in the game, and I think it's obviously Nicole was in foul trouble, Aaron was in foul trouble in the first half. Our starters didn't get a lot of minutes together. All the guys stepped up, which is great to see, but just trying to get our guys some rhythm and playing the right way going into game two.
What were the things that stood out on film for those areas you talked about as far as areas to improve?
I think offensively, we didn't turn the ball over a ton, but we know that they thrive on turnovers. And I'd say almost half of our turnovers were us dribbling into a crowd. They thrive on steals per game and using that to get out and run. So they only had 12 points off our turnovers, which is great, but we can be better with that. We had too many possessions offensively where it was just random basketball. In the playoffs, it can't be random. We have to execute at a high level and be disciplined. As far as defensively, did a pretty good job, but I think in our pick and roll defense, there are some things that we can clean up. We're going to see a ton of pick and rolls with Edwards and Connolly handling, and whether it's Gobert, Cat, or Kyle Anderson setting, where we know our game plan, our adjustments, and where we can be better at.
Is there any examples that you could use or that you could use for teams that get a blowout in game one and game two is a totally different game, but then it becomes a totally different series?
I'm sure there are. I wasn't spending my day looking at the playoffs and the archives because I'm sure there are plenty of examples of that. But, for me, it was coming in here today, reminding our players. I felt the reason we were so effective in game one is because the preparation and the day-to-day leading into it. I told you guys every day, and you said, well, what does locked in look like? What does energetic look like? Well, game one is what it looks like. Well, we can't, because we won one game, come in today and think we can just go through the motions. There are no wasted days in the postseason. So for me, not citing any specific examples to your point, it's more about, fellas, we have an opportunity. We haven't done anything. All right, we got to win game two. Understand they just got beat by 29 points. They're going to be a marked different team tomorrow night, and we have to be ready for that and exceed it. And that was the message, and I think the guys understood it. And we had a good film session, clean up, and practice after that.
How do you approach the adjustments you know that they're going to make? Do you try and pre-adjust to them? Do you have them ready if they make them? How do you approach kind of making sure that you're doing what you do but being ready for whatever they're going to change?
Well, the good thing is I think throughout 82 games we've seen almost everything teams can do, from different pick and roll coverages, different matchups, different post coverages against Nikola, how they guard Jamal Murray, zone defense, whatever it may be. So I think we've seen a lot of things, and knowing that team, we know what they like to go to at times, but a lot of times, Matt, you have to be ready to react to it on the fly. And that's what playoffs are all about, making not just game-to-game adjustments, but adjustments within the game. And we had a lot of really good examples in game one, but to your point, we know they're going to do some things differently, whether that's rotationally, whether that's matchup-wise, or how they play. And that's the thing that we stressed today is expect a much more aggressive Towns and Edwards, because those two guys are going to set the tone for them.
Michael, when Anderson and Christian got into that dust-up at the end of the third quarter, basically Christian was saying, you're not shooting the ball after the whistle in our house. Do you like that attitude, or was it unnecessary?
No, I don't like it. I love it. I mean, it's, we talked about that going into the game. I mean, the playoffs is a different mindset. You know, I mean, physical, mental. You got to remember, man, my father's on Chuck Daly's staff with the Bad Boys. So all that kind of stuff, I miss that era of basketball. And what happened between those two, the best part about it was it wasn't dirty. It wasn't over the top, which is you want to keep everything to a certain level. And then after it happened, you know, they both dapped each other up. Move on. All right, let's move on. Next play. Same thing with Nicola's foul on Anthony Edwards. That wasn't intentional. I mean, Nicola, that's just not in his nature. He's not trying to hurt anybody. And him and I think Anthony Edwards exchanged words after that in a positive light. So this is a playoff. There's nothing easy. You got to be physical. You got to send a message. And I just hope we as a group don't think what we did in game one was good enough, because it wasn't. If we're going to continue to win, it's got to get better and better and better as we move forward.
What's the line that could be crossed?
Oh, I think we all know the line. I can't give a specific example, but you know, there are things that are just not basketball plays. You know what I mean? And just maybe with the intention of trying to hurt somebody. We don't want that. You know, I don't condone that. That's not where it is. But we all understand that when teams come into your house, you got to send a message. And I felt that you know, our guys did a really good job of kind of just being who we need to be in front of a tremendous crowd.
You see in the playoffs a lot of times teams will leave certain guys directly open to help pack the paint, puts a lot of mental pressure on them. But was it a little bit of that versus Aaron in game one? He knocked down 2 threes. What's the message for him in terms of how to balance those opportunities when he's given that much space? Yeah,
I thought Aaron did a really good job of that within game one. Again, his rhythm and flow was cut short because of the first half foul trouble. I think he only wound up playing 23 minutes. You know, but you know, above the break, Aaron's 3-point percentage is really good, career high, I believe. So he knocked a couple of threes down, but he was also looking to get downhill attack if he didn't have anything, kicking it out and making a play for a teammate. But ever since Aaron Gordon became a Denver Nugget, I've said to him, I've said to you guys, he is at his best and he helps his team most when he plays with an attack mentality. Getting to the basket, getting to the foul line, or the great thing about Aaron is he's a capable playmaker. If they want to guard him like that, create a 2-on-1 advantage somewhere on the court, and he's more than capable of doing so.
When you talk about that message that you give to the team, stay humble, we haven't achieved anything, and how confident are you, though, that these guys with their maturity, that they take it and run with it? You don't have to keep harping on it, that they'll do it.
Yeah, well, the good thing for me is, you know, having a guy in KCP who's won a championship, understands that this is a long journey, and that's why you don't celebrate after one win. Having veterans that have been around the league a long time, a lot of playoff experience, like a DeAndre, like a Jeff, like a Reggie Jackson, Ish, KCP, those guys are invaluable because some of the young guys, they don't know. I mean, Christian's birthday was yesterday, turned 22. So this is all brand new to him, but I feel really fortunate to have the veterans that we have in our locker room that help constantly deliver the message that I'm trying to deliver. And, you know, for me, I'm very black and white, so I think the message was delivered.
Knowing Minnesota as well as you know them, I know you mentioned you're expecting them to be more aggressive, but what aspects of their game did they not get to that you're thinking they're going to really make an effort to get to?
Well, I think Carl on the post more. You know, I mean, I told our players today, you know, Carl was 1 of 7 from 3 on shots that he can make, and quite frankly, we gave him way too many open looks. You know, we didn't do a good enough job. Like, the numbers look great, but when you watch the film the 3 times that I watched it, we did not do a good job in a lot of areas. So let's not say, oh, we were perfect. We weren't. And that's what today was about. So I expect more Karl Anthony Towns post-ups. I expect more Anthony Edwards pick and rolls, get downhill, attack. You know, Mike Conley, Kyle Anderson pick and roll in their second unit was very effective. And, you know, I think they're trying to, you know, Finchy used a lot of different guys off the bench. He's trying to find a group that's going to go out there and, you know, play at the level they need to play at. But, you know, when you lose by 29, we all know what's about to happen. And, you know, some coaches will say we have to match it. Screw matching it. Exceed it. Exceed it. And if we do that, hopefully we'll give ourselves a chance to win another home game and go on the road up 2-0.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, everybody. Thank you.